Imagine being married but struggling with an unharmonious relationship due to constant financial pressures. That's the reality for Gota, a failed screenwriter. He lives with his beautiful wife Chika and their adorable daughter, Aki. The past few years have been tough for Gota as his career has stagnated, leaving him feeling trapped and frustrated. Gota spends his days taking care of the house and looking after Aki, while Chika works late into the night to support the family. Their relationship grows strained, with Chika often too exhausted to connect emotionally or physically with Gota. One morning, when Gota tries to get close to her, Chika gently rejects him, citing her fatigue from work. After breakfast, Gota takes Aki to the park. While there, he's supposed to record Aki playing but gets distracted by an attractive woman nearby. Suddenly, Azumi, a widowed neighbor, appears. She seems to understand Gota's struggles and notices the tension in his marriage. That night, Gota watches a movie with the volume turned up, annoying Chika, who asks him to stop. Gota feels increasingly unappreciated and stressed. One day, he meets Yoyogi, a colleague, at the office. Yoyogi flatters Gota, calling him an important figure in Japan's entertainment industry, though Gota knows it's just empty praise. Yoyogi shares good news. A well-known producer is interested in adapting one of Gota's sold scripts about a high school girl skilled at making you. However, to complete the project, Gota must travel to Kanagawa for research. Yoyogi promises to cover all expenses as long as the script is finished on time. Excited Gota returns home and shares the news with Chika, including plans for the Kanagawa trip. Instead of being happy, Chika is frustrated. She feels Gota should handle it on his own without involving the family, and doubts Yoyogi, who she thinks often gives false hope. Still, Chika softens when she recalls their happier times. When she helped Gota transcribe his script, The Curse of the Village, those memories convince her, and they decide to go to Kanagawa together. The Kanagawa trip. To save money, they bring homemade food and take a cheap train, requiring multiple transfers. Unfortunately, they miss a connection because Chika keeps needing restroom breaks. When they finally arrive in Kanagawa, their struggles continue. The hotel they booked is far from the station, forcing them to walk. Aki grows tired and hungry, so they stop at an old diner. There, they order food, but the waiter, an elderly man, insists there's only one menu item available. At the hotel, another issue arises. Chika booked a single room meant for 2 people, not 3. To avoid trouble, Chika sneaks in through the back entrance, while Gota and Aki enter through the main door. When they reach the room, Gota unwinds by soaking in the bath and falls asleep. Frustrated, Chika visiting the udon restaurants. The next day, they rent a car for research. At a udon restaurant, they meet Nanami, a girl who inspires Gota's script. Her father, Kalpanet, invites them to try Haru, but the mood shifts when Kalp reveals that another production team visited days earlier to adapt Nanami's story into a film. Chika is furious, believing Gota's idea was stolen. She blames him for always missing opportunities. The return journey is tense. Gota is disappointed that Yoyogi didn't inform him about the other team, while Chika continues to criticize his failures. During a stop at the Sanuki winery, Chika secretly pours wine samples into her own bottle, and Gota feels increasingly hopeless. That night, in a cheap apartment they rented, Gota tries to reconnect with Chika, but she rejects him, feeling he's only taken advantage of the moment. Escalating conflict, Gota starts texting Asumi, the widowed neighbor, admitting he felt a spark when they last met. Later, he sees a drunk woman on the street and tries to help, but it leads to a misunderstanding. He is detained by the police for not carrying ID. Chika arrives with Aki to pick him up, but is angry that her sleep was disturbed. She brings up old wounds. Recalling how Gota initially rejected her pregnancy with Aki, she feels he's never truly taken responsibility, even after Aki was born. The next day, Chika visits her friend Ayumi to vent, feeling weighed down by her marriage. Meanwhile, Gota takes Aki to the beach to save money but gets distracted texting Azumi. He loses track of Aki. Panicking when he can't find her, Ayumi calls Gota, inviting him to join her and Chika, but tensions remain high. At Ayumi's house, Chika continues to belittle Gota, in front of her friend, climax and resolution. That night, Chika and Ayumi talk, with Ayumi subtly encouraging Chika to give Gota another chance. Overhearing their conversation, Gota feels a glimmer of hope. Back at the apartment, he humbly apologizes to Chika for not being a better husband. Moved by his sincerity, Chika softens, and they reconcile. The next day, they spend joyful time with Ak, filled with warmth and laughter, as if their burdens have lifted. But the happiness is Yoyogi calls Gota, revealing that the curse of the village was rejected because the original writer disagreed with Gota's adaptation. Additionally, Nanami's story has been taken by another producer. Chika is enraged, unable to understand why Gota keeps failing. In a heated argument, she says she wants a divorce, feeling that Gota is a burden to her, and Aki Gota tries to apologize, but Chika walks away. Seeing her and Aki in tears, Gota feels deep remorse. That night, he works on a new script, determined to turn things around. As he watches Chika sleep, he quietly expresses his love for her. Chika, awake but silent, is moved to tears by his words. Conclusion: in the end, they agree to support each other and rebuild their relationship. Chika realizes Gota draws inspiration from their bond, and they commit to working together for their family's future. The film closes on a hopeful note, despite their ongoing struggles.